Now we have a long lineup for linear functions and relations here. And here's problem number 1. Again, pause the video, read the problem, and analyze the problem, please. Okay, now in this problem, Joey is trying to compare, Joey compared the two linear equations, basically the y-intercept, or the two linear equations. So here, for the first one, for the first function, we have 2x plus 3. Now we learned that the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, okay, in here in the slope-intercept form, or we call it y-intercept form, here that constant will be your y-intercept. That constant is your y-intercept. That's why in this problem we already know that positive 3 is the y-intercept of that function. But how about this table? How will you find the y-intercept of this table? Now, this is going to be a little bit probably not that complicated, because as long as you know how to find the slope in the equation, and then you should be fine. So here we go. First is we must know the slope of this, and I'm using this and this because it's, I think it's easier for me to use those first two ordered pairs. And now to find the slope, remember, to find the slope, it's y2 minus y1, and then over x2 minus x1. So I can say that for y2 is 35 minus 20, and then 6 minus 3. And that will give me 15. Okay? Divided by 3. 6 minus 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. At this point, I now have the slope of 5. Now, I'm going to keep that slope 5. Okay? But because I want to find the y-intercept, then I should be able, I need to get the equation of this graph, of this table. Now, to find the equation, I need to use the formula y minus y1 equals m, and then x. Now, it's really important that you memorize the formula for the slope and finding the equation. So here, using this equation, we can now use the slope, which is 5. Okay, but after using 5, we still need to find your y1 and y2. Now, here we got 1, 2, 3, 4 ordered pairs. We got 4 ordered pairs. You can use any of the ordered pairs, and we're going to get the same exact equation here. Okay, so for now, again, I'm going to use the smallest pair, which is 3 and 20. So 3 is my x, so minus 3, and then my y is 20, and I'll go ahead and here we go, distribute that first. So y minus 20 equals 5 times x is 5x. Just split them together, and then now that we have 5 times negative 3, it will be minus 15. Move that 20 over, becomes plus 20. Negative over becomes positive, y equals 5x. And then here we got negative 15 plus 20 is positive 5. Now again for this, okay, for this, the y-intercept is 5. Now if you go back to the question, what is the difference? That means we have to subtract. Okay, the y-intercept of gx, which is actually this one, 5, is subtracted from the y-intercept, from, okay, of fx. So that means here Okay, we're using the fx first because we are subtracting 5 from 3. And now we have 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Now it's very confusing because a lot of you guys, a lot of students are thinking about because this comes first, then you would have 5 minus 3 first. No, you have to be very careful about the word from. From, that means you have to reverse it. That means this first, which is 3, and then the gx, and the y-intercept is this one. So now you have 3. So this is wrong. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Okay, next. Okay, for the first one we have the graph here. We have the graph, and the graph is has a slope of, it has a y-intercept there, and it's crossing every corner. So I can say that the slope is 1, 1, 1, 1. Rise over run, rise over run. So it can be slope is rise over run, which is 1. So the slope of this graph is 1. Now how about having another line with an x-intercept 4, and then the y-intercept negative 8. So that's your x-intercept, and that is the y-intercept. Now again, just like what we did about rise over run, we can go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now we have 1 and 2. Now, if we go to the options, what is the slope of the function with a smaller slope? So smaller slope is 1. Okay? Oops. Next. Okay, now here Sam gets an additional 4 minutes, so the starting time actually of Sam is 4. So it could be this one or this one. That is the starting time. Starting time is going to be your y-intercept. Now because the thumb is only two-thirds of thumb, so 2/3 of thumb, let's say we don't know what thumb, okay, it looks like my slope is 2 over 3. So between A and D, which one here will give us the slope of 2 over 3? Remember the rise over run. So that means from that starting point, you go up twice, and then you go to the right 3 times because it's positive. So you go up because it's positive, you go to the right. Always go up because it's positive, you go to the right. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Nope, not this one. How about here? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Here you go. Yes, so the answer is D. This represents the problem out there. Now again, make sure you read the problem, so go ahead and pause the video and read the problem at least twice. Now in this problem we have a line segment. We have a line segment here. We have a line segment. A line segment has endpoints. This is your L and this is your N, and L has -2, 5, and then N has 6, 11. What do you think? Well, the midpoint is M. The point M is the midpoint. So I'll go ahead and make a dot there, and that's the midpoint. And you gotta remember, for the midpoint, you add the 2x's divided by 2. You add the 2y's divided by 2. Here, negative 2 plus 6 is negative 2 plus 6 divided by 2 is 4 divided by 2. And your x is 2. Now, how about for the y? Add the 2 y's again. Also, so 5 plus 11 divided by 2. 5 plus 11 is 16 divided by 2. And now we have 8. So the midpoint now is at point 2, 8. Okay, we got it? Now, what is the equation? Now, here we go. Equation means y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I asked you before that you really need to memorize that formula when you're solving for the equation. So that means we need to find the slope first. Now, because you have a line segment here and you have 3 points, you can use these 2 points, these 2, or these 2, and you are going to get the same answer. Now, let's go ahead and find the slope first. Remember this formula for the slope, it's y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. Okay? Now, again, it's up to you if you want to use this or that. Let me use, m and n. Let me try to use the original points. So how about now, if we have 11 minus 5 and now 6 minus negative 2. You gotta remember, negative times negative is positive, so I'll just go ahead and make it plus. So now we have 11 minus 5 is 6, and this is 8. 6 over 8 is the lowest term is 4 over. So now the slope is the slope, but wait. Let's go back to the question. What is an equation of a line perpendicular? Now you gotta remember, we learned that parallel lines have the same slopes. So if we're talking about two parallel lines here, then we can use 4 over 5. But because they are perpendicular, we can now go ahead and flip that and then change the sign. Remember that in perpendicular lines, we always we always get the reciprocal, and then we always flip the sign. Change the sign if it's positive, the slope of the perpendicular line will be negative. If it's negative, then the slope of the perpendicular line becomes positive. So here we got positive 4 over 5. To get the slope of the line perpendicular to another line, you gotta flip it and then change the sign. Now, where is the line that is perpendicular to L and passing? It's passing through M. This is your L and that's your M. So it's passing this point. So that means the line is going to be here that is perpendicular to LN. So it's going to pass point M. That means we are going to use 2 and 8. Your x is 2, so minus 2, and then your y1 is 8. Okay, so now you have y minus 8 equals, you gotta remember when multiplying a fraction or a number to x, you just have to put them together. Okay, and now when multiplying a fraction to a whole number, negative times negative is positive. You just multiply the top numbers, the numerators. 5 times 2 is 10 over, and then copy the denominator. Okay? Because in fraction, you gotta remember this is 1, and then 4 times 1 is 4. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator when multiplying two fractions. Okay, now move that minus 8 over, becomes plus 8. Y equals negative 5 over 4 x. Now, at this point, I'm going to ask you this time to use your calculator by pressing 10 divided by 4 plus 8. 10 divided by 4 plus 8. And then write your answer here. Whether it's a fraction or decimal, write your answer there. Okay? So this is going to be the equation with your answer here of the line that is perpendicular to line L and passing. So to illustrate that, it's going to be this line. And the line is forming a right angle because it is perpendicular to line L. Okay, now after reading this problem, for me, all I have to do is to just get the lowest term of 3 over 60. Now, getting the lowest term of 3 over 60, it will be 1 over, think of a number that can divide both 3 and 60. Now, I can divide 3 by 3, I can divide 60 by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 60 divided by 3 is 20. And you have to remember that 3 is for hours, so every hour what do you think now will be the answer there? Okay, so that means the answer is D. The gas station serves 20 cars per hour, or 1 hour per 20 cars. Okay. Now, from this table, if you go to the question, if you read the question, after how many weeks will Elise and Abby will have the same? You have to remember, for the word same, it serves as an equal sign. So that means these two will be equal to each other. So now I have 5x plus 20 equals 11x plus 2. Now, if I move my 11x over, because we learned that, so for here, we have to draw a line. For an equation like this, we have to put the 5x, keep the 5x on the left side, and that 11x, move it over, and that becomes negative 11x. And then on the other side will be the constants 2, and the plus 20, we have to move it over, and plus over the equal sign becomes minus 20. So 5 minus 11 is 5 minus 11 is negative 6x, and then 2 minus 20 is negative 18. Now if you're solving for just x, you have to divide both sides by negative 6, and x is going to give you positive 3. Negative divided by negative is positive. 8 divided by 6 is 3. So the answer is in 3 weeks. Now, using your calculator, you can press, in a problem like this, you can just press y equals, and then type in 5x plus 20, and then go to the y2, to the bottom one, to the next one, type in 11x plus 2, and then second, and then graph, and then you will see that, with x equals 3, they will both have the same value for the y's, 35. Okay? Okay. Now, how did I do that? Check that out. And then press second, and then graph, second and graph, and it's going to give you that table. Next. Here.
What